So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran, Excell, mindset coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out your own way and live a life that you love. Today, I am talking about the overwhelm gremlin. How to recognize overwhelm. It's like that, uh-oh, here comes overwhelm. So are you always feeling like you're spinning your wheels? Like you just can't keep up, or that everything's going wrong? You're so busy but nothing is getting done, and you're feeling like you have to rush everything, or you just don't even know where to start. So if that sounds familiar, then overwhelm could be the little thing getting in your way right now. So overwhelm can be a pesky little gremlin, pesky little mindset gremlin that can cause absolute havoc on your mindset and on your ability to actually get stuff done. It's also the number one reason that clients come to me for help, and one of the main reasons that we procrastinate. So overwhelm and procrastination, two of the biggest reasons people come to me. But once you can recognize that that's what's going on for you, it is much easier to work out a plan to move forwards. If it's something that you struggle with regularly, we need to create some new habits to stop it from happening in the first place. And that's all possible. Overwhelm can cause you to not trust your own judgment, which leads to indecision and not knowing the way forward. And the thing with overwhelm is it keeps us in a constant state of fight or flight. You have all those stress hormones pumping around in your body, causing and creating that feeling of anxiety. And we know, we feel it in a physiological way. And it's also really, really, really bad for your health in the long term. But it's actually your thoughts that are creating this overwhelm, rather than your external circumstances themselves. Our feelings tend to come from our thoughts, and when we're in overwhelm, we have a massive tendency to overthink everything. So it's when our thoughts get out of control that the overwhelm or anxiety really sets in. But thoughts can be changed. So that's what we need to focus on to get through it and make sure it doesn't come back so quickly in the future. So when the frustration and the negative thoughts creep in, that's when you get into a horrible little negative loop. More of these thoughts come, then more cortisol and adrenaline starts pumping through your veins. You feel more of the physiological feelings of overwhelm. So your heart beating faster, blood rushing to your head, anxious butterflies. Insert yours here. There are a ton of these. And then you really, really start to feel like you're in a bit of a pickle. So what we need to do is create awareness and break that cycle, and then break it down so you're not actually focusing on the huge, big, scary task. Our brains actually don't love huge, big picture tasks. It likes small, manageable steps to take, small, manageable tasks and things to do. So here's a few ways to recognize it so you can start to create that awareness, which is the key to changing any behavior, so you can then break that habit. So one of the first things, you will notice that your sleep is interrupted. You have busy mind monkeys when you're trying to go to sleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night with it, potentially along with some lovely heart palpitations thrown in for good measure. That was always one that got me. But then no matter how much sleep you do get, you still always feel tired and have zero energy. And then when you do wake up, you instantly have that sort of feeling of dread and doom about the day ahead, rather than, waking up with a spring in your step. The next thing is your ability to problem solve and think rationally is nowhere to be seen. That's some stuff going on in your brain caused by overwhelm. It actively stops stress, and overwhelm actively inhibits your ability to problem solve and think rationally. So you also have a massive lack of enthusiasm towards all the things you need to do, and life in general, let's be honest. When you get into that pit of overwhelm and procrastination and you're binging trash TV, you kind of have just a complete lack of enthusiasm towards life. It's very difficult to get anything done from that space. And then you're more annoyed with yourself because you've got so much you want to do and want to achieve. So you're in this horrible little loop. The next one is you'll notice that you feel super stroppy and short-tempered. Feel like a real sensitive, snappy Sally. Now, this one is when I know. Usually it's pointed out by the hubster, but often you can feel like the slightest little thing will set off those waterworks. You know, it's like so often when we cry, the thing that's made us cry is not what we're crying about at all. It's all the other things that have led up to it, and that feeling of overwhelm is building and building and building to that trigger point. The next one is you are procrastinating big time. You have got a ton of things to do, but your Facebook feed is just so enticing. Procrastination is often your brain's way of trying to give you a break from overwhelm by doing something totally mind-numbing that requires no thought process. But then you feel all the procrastination frustration, and then you start beating yourself up for not getting anything done and for wasting time. It's really not a fun loop to get into. Next one is you want to do all the things, but your motivation to actually do them has literally upped and left the building. And on that note, your productivity is at an all-time low, apart from somehow you are just so busy. So the next thing is you're struggling to focus on anything, and your attention span has decreased to the minus numbers, and you feel like you're just sort of flitting from one thing to the next. Everything feels a little bit frantic, and you feel like you're on edge the whole time and totally unable to relax, even when you're actually trying to. You just have this feeling that you are totally out of control. Okay, your memory seems like a distant memory. This is another thing that happens in your brain. You're being super forgetful all the time, and it's driving you bonkers. But this is something that happens to you when all these stress hormones are pumping through your brain, and all of these different things are happening for you. It actively decreases your ability to hold on to long-term memories. The next one is you're not looking after yourself. Okay, as demonstrated by me having to move my Facebook Live yesterday. So you'll be eating too much junk, drinking too much Pinot Noir, gin, porn star martinis, whatever your poison is, I won't judge. And you can't remember the last time that you actually did anything for you. These are the moments when you start to feel like you're not looking after yourself, you're not listening to those little moments where you're like, hang on a minute, my body's trying to tell me something here. That's when you need to look out. Okay. And then the next thing is you're cutting corners and rushing everything. So you're doing everything sort of like in a way that you normally wouldn't, and you have less care for things that could potentially have negative consequences. You know, like running across the road without actually looking properly. Anything that you'd normally be really sensible about, you know, have your wits about you for. You're rushing these things, and you're not thinking about these potential things that can happen. The next one is you're catastrophizing every little thing that happens, rather than looking at it with your rational problem-solving mind. And you feel like you can't do anything, and your confidence is plummeting in your work. You feel like you're just rubbish at what you do, which rational you knows is 100% not true. But you're getting sick, and you're feeling drained, and you're feeling run down, and you could be heading towards burnout. So you need to really, really listen to your body when these things are happening. And this episode is all about creating that awareness for you. If any of these are resonating, then have a look at them, have a look at where you're at, what you're doing, and let's work out a plan forward. So if you are recognizing any of these in yourself, head over to the other episode from Overwhelm, Out of Overwhelm and into Action, which is episode 19. There's also how to stop overthinking everything, and you will find some great ways to combat it and get you back on track. But as I said before, the key to this is recognizing and becoming aware of any of these behaviors. They're all signs that you're doing too much, and it doesn't have to be that way. We need to find a way to help you focus, prioritize, break things down into the small manageable steps, and find ways to get you being and feeling more productive. You are 100% not alone in this. This is such a common problem, and one of the core reasons that I created my new mastermind, the Proactive Pants Mastermind, is to help get people. There's a real need to get people out from overwhelm and procrastination, frustration, and actually get you into that positive action, feeling on track, in control, and actually making progress, and feeling that focus that you don't have in your business right now, and actually get you taking the action. And I'm doing the beta round at the moment, and the results that people are getting are amazing. They're feeling on track, they're feeling focused, they're not too overwhelmed. It's brilliant, and I blimmin' love it. So if you want a little piece of that in your business and in your life, then make sure you book a call with me, because I'm only accepting people I've actually spoken to, and there's only 5 people allowed in at the early bird rate. So you can book your call in through the link that I'll put in the notes. But I urge you, if any of these are resonating with you, it's something that you definitely need to think about, because I can't tell you how much better your business can be when you're not overwhelmed, you're not procrastinating, you push through your fears, you have accountability, you have support, and you have somewhere to actually make sure that these horrible loops that we all get into don't have to happen. Yeah? This is very, very, very soft launch. I've got my 5 beta ladies. There will be 5 people at the early bird rate, and then it will go to a final 10. It's 20 people maximum, 1 in, 1 out, all about getting into action and out from that procrastination, frustration. And this is the first time I've actually spoken about it publicly. So I really hope that you have a think about it. Let me know how many of these things are resonating with you, how many of these you're noticing in your life. I want you to just start creating that awareness of how often these things are happening to you, because it doesn't need to be that way. Absolutely doesn't need to be that way. So I hope, as always, that was helpful. And until next week, I'll see you then. Bye.